Sunday rolls around and they're back on the screen. James and Dan, the wildest pair you've ever seen. Tuning up the airwaves, ready to ignite. Talking all things Polar, they're live tonight. From pile-ups to gear and crazy ham hacks, you never know where the convo tracks. One minute it's antennas, next it's a dare. Welcome to the world of the wild on-air affair. It's shenanigans, cranking up the sound. James and Dan taking Polar to town. Talking crazy calls and late night thrills. Tuning up the bands with the power and the skills. Shenanigans, you know it's never tame. Every Sunday night they're bringing the game. They're swapping stories about the wildest roads, park to park, from the highs to the bros. Radio's failing, but they make it through. Working those stations, yeah, nothing they can't do. James says, late shift's the thrill of it all. Dan's like, watch this pile up, I'll catch 'em all. With gear on the table and coffee in hand, they're rocking shenanigans across the land. It's shenanigans, cranking up the sound. James and Dan taking Polar to town. Talking crazy calls and late night thrills. Tuning up the bands with the power and the skills. Shenanigans, you know it's never tame. Every Sunday night they're bringing the game. From wild activations to DX trees, they're riding the waves, breaking all the beats. Maybe a bet on who's faster on the draw. No matter what they chat, they leave us in awe.
What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zoo November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by, your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Sunday, time for shenanigans, great music, a little bit of Ham Radio joshing or joking.
And no
or
bands.
Even danning. We'll call it danning.
Hey.
Well, I mean, why does Josh get all the credit? Let's call it danning today. Anyway, what's going on, Dan? Well, you know what? Before we say what's going on, let me do what I'm supposed to do.
We're ready to get out of here, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I think I'm done with this. Let's thank the Patreons, because you guys are absolutely awesome. I tell you, it is like almost time for the next Patreon meetup for this year, and I'm super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Murphy was fun, so this will be the first year for Michigan. So I'm looking forward to see how it turns out. Also, shout out to the YouTube members, the ones in green in chat, or blue if they are administrators. And the ever-changing board who has not changed yet, because I don't have the first of the month stuff in there, because it's just now the first of the month, guys. It'll be updated on Wednesday. Thank you very much. Now, Dan, how you doing, buddy?
And if it's the first of the month and we got the food,
you got to wake up.
That's right. I'm glad. I mean, see, you got it. I'm curious if anybody else in the chat got that besides Josh, because Josh is a musical encyclopedia. We have figured it out. But hello, everybody. Shenanigans Sunday, episode 124, I believe. Thanks to Bone Thugs. That's right, Ronnie. Whiskey Charlie was first in the chat. How you doing, buddy? And Ronnie, Kilo Oscar 4. Zulu Romeo X-Ray, Kilo Oscar 4 Golf Bravo, what's happening, Mo? Kilo 9 Alpha Echo Kent, what's up? Andy Callie, good to see you, buddy. KO4 SXH, Mr. Duckett, hello, hello. Brent, November 4, Bravo Delta Whiskey. Let's see, scrolling on down. Bob, what's going on? Kilo Oscar 4, Zulu, India Kilo. Mike, 88 KB. Gene McPhee from Killeen, Texas. What's going on, buddy? Reed, AB8AS. Good to have you in here. KO4 FSZ Antennas. Logging in from work, he says. Getting paid to watch ESPN. This job is, oh man, you can't beat that. That is awesome, man. Chris, Whiskey Zero, Charlie Golf Charlie, 5'9" from East Tennessee. Good to see you, buddy. KH6WI. Yes, you are early, Eric. What's going on? Aloha, my friend. Dad is here. James, Kilo Delta 9 Uniform Victor Kilo. Scrolling on down. Fred, KW4FM. What's up, buddy? Dennis, Alpha Delta 9 Whiskey Mike is here. And the best call sign on the planet, Bob is here. Whiskey 4 Golf Alpha. Will you, Bob, will you like will me that call sign? I know that's kind of morbid, but yeah, I love it. I appreciate it. KE6GAE, the Hillbilly Hand. What's up, buddy? Good to see you in here. Martini, that's the Jumbo Marshmallow. Whiskey Delta 4, Juliet, Mike. My Toy Ostrich is here. Chris, K3MTO. And Josh, Keeler 4, Lemur Indier. And the last one in the chat here is Ham Radio Adventure Guy. I don't see him in the chat very often, but welcome, Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Hope you enjoy the stream. And hey, man, what's going on, James? The bands are awesome.
Yeah,
I made so many contacts today.
Yeah, I other than late shift last night, I went out once today, and I'll tell you, it was not super enjoyable. Now, mind you, I went out when that thing was hitting, and didn't realize that there was anything hitting till I was out there, and I was like, "What's wrong with the bands, man?"
Man, I'm telling you, there's a turd from North Carolina in here. I appreciate you joining, buddy. But Bill said, yeah, he gave up after an hour and a half of static. They were okay this morning, but as soon as the sun came up very much, call it quits.
Yeah, they were pretty bad. Kilo Whiskey 4 Fox Mike, congratulations on hunting all of North Carolina. I seen that today.
Oh yeah, awesome. All 251. That is awesome. Wow, Chris said he gave up. He couldn't even make a contact on FT8. That's bad. That's bad.
Now I made, let's see, I think I made 40 contacts this morning.
On FT8?
No. Even though it's Lewis and Clark time, I still haven't done no FT8 yet. That'll probably come tonight. FT8 will probably be hitting for the Lewis and Clark tonight. And if you don't have Whiskey 8 Ling Oscar Golf in your ham alerts, you probably should, because that's just 99.9% of the time that's going to be me, and I'm probably going to be in a park.
That's right.
I mean, there is other club members doing the Lewis and Clark, so you might get one of them. But if you get them and it's not a park, you just made a contact. Big deal. You
have help this year.
Yeah, I have help this year.
So it's not just the James show.
Yeah, I do. I have help this year. So
yeah, G4 Solar Storm. Doc Adams said hello. N3IM. Good to have you, buddy. But I was reading that significant portion of the continental United States might get some good aurora activity either tonight or maybe even tomorrow as well. So keep your head up to the sky in the dark. See what you can find.
Yeah, well,
I don't think it's going to be quite as intense as the last one we had that we could see way down here in North Florida, South Georgia, but it'd be awesome if it happens.
I'm going to keep my head to the microphone tonight, because that's probably where I'll be. I've got, after the stream, I'm going to go out and do an early late.
10 watts.
And I'll probably start the early late later than I normally do, because if the bands are sucky, I don't want to start at 7:30 and at 7:35 start calling CQ for late shift.
Yeah. You can do it at 10 whiskeys?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to do it at 73 whiskeys.
Nice.
So I don't play when it comes to whiskey.
You dropped down 10.
Huh?
You dropped down
No.
10 watts.
No.
Normally it's 83.
Oh. Did I drop down 10? I think
Man,
I've been doing 7.
see, you've been cheating people out of 10 watts and y'all didn't even know it. That's just proof that 83 watts is just as good as 20.
That's that. You know what? That's why the band conditions suck.
You didn't turn them on. Yeah.
Well, I might have to turn that back up. I wonder how my radio got this. This is what probably happened. And you know what? I wouldn't even put it past the guy that's sitting right beside me here on this stream. I'm wondering if he got into my radio at Murphy and turned it down 10 watts.
I would never.
He already said he can't wait to see my radio to get into the settings of it. And I told him, my new radio, the only thing he's touching is the microphone. He's not allowed near, you know what? Because my voice keyers work, my CW keyers work. Everything works in that radio. Despite all the complaining you hear from all these people, half of the ones who don't even have the radio to start with, all this complaining about stuff. Guys, I don't care what radio company it is. I don't care if it's Yazoo, ICOM, Elecraft. When they very first drop a radio for the first time, those first 6 or 7 months, there's going to be bugs, and they fix them with firmware. It's not a big deal. It's not like they're putting out bad hardware. They fix them with firmware. And I'll be honest, I haven't found any bugs yet, other than the one that crawled out of my box during the live stream. Thank you, either DX Engineering or FedEx for that. And
maybe that's why everybody else still has bugs, because theirs was contained inside the unit.
Yeah, mine had legs and crawled.
Yeah.
And I have one issue with it, and I'll address that in a short. It's no longer an issue. But if you are a PODA or SOTA person, so if you're not getting the Optima and leaving the amp at the house and taking the head unit out to activate, I don't like where they put the power plug in. It's right underneath the 2-meter antenna port, and if you got decent sized hands, it's hard to get in there and clip it off. Yeah. All I did was I made me a little pigtail, so I've got a Yazoo plug in and to about that long of wire into a power pole, and then I power pole into it.
And to be honest with you, those 4-pin connectors that they use, I mean, even ICOM uses that style somewhat. And even on my 101D, that's not obstructed to get it out. It's still a pain in the butt sometimes to push that down.
Yes, even when it's not obstructed. The same thing with my DX10. I've had issues with it before.
Yeah. I wouldn't do a power pole mod. Like James said, I would just make you a short little, 2-3 inch pigtail.
I'll be right back.
And I mean, especially if you run it, I mean, like you said, PODA, where you're always going to be unplugging, plugging, unplugging, plugging, unplugging, plugging over and over and over again. And just make you a pigtail so you're not going to wear that connector out. And the Molex plugs are outdated, but yeah. I wish they put power poles on the back of them. That's it, to be honest with you. But yeah, even the ones that aren't obstructed, they're still a pain to get that little tab to push down and then pull it out. So it's not more cumbersome to pack in a box. Just, yeah. I'm sure somebody will come out with a power pole mod for it. I mean, it can't be all that difficult to do, right? Be pretty
Here's
cool.
the only power pole mod you need right here.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
I guess depending on how you put it in your case, Brian, if you like orient it in your case like this or like this, depending on the length and width of your case, of how much that would be a pain. But yeah.
Well, I haven't cut my case out yet, but I just plan on cutting my case out with this much room in the back of the radio. So
yeah,
I'm using the same size case that I do for the DX10. And that will be way big enough because that radio is incredible. It's smaller than the 991.
Oh, and an Apache case foam plucking, cutting pro tip right here on Shenanigans. Once you get it to the shape you want, go to Home Depot or Lowe's or something and get you a can of Plasti Dip.
Mm-hmm.
And then coat the foam with the Plasti Dip. Do like 4, 5, 6, light coats of it, and it'll keep your foam from falling apart.
Do more than that. Do 2 cans of it.
There you go.
I did 1 can the first time. Now, mind you, I did 1 can, and it lasted a whole lot longer than a normal case. But it's still eventually. So I'm going to do 2 cans this time.
Because what's hilarious is you can get replacement foams for those things.
But
it's almost more expensive than the whole damn case. So at that point, what I do is I rip all the foam out. I still use the case, but I'll use it for like storage for like wire antennas or something like that. And then I'll just go buy another case.
But yeah, that's my one issue with the radio. And that fixed it right there.
You go. Yeah, you've been putting out a lot of good shorts, good little how-tos on the FTX one. And
yeah, matter of fact, one just dropped about 15 minutes before this string.
Looking forward to see some more of them. That way I know what I'm getting into when I get
simple stuff that a lot of you people already know, but some people, I've seen some real. So think about the POTA Facebook page. Think about the questions that you get in the POTA Facebook page. So when somebody gets this radio, you're going to get this amount of questions. Josh says my audio is way better. Yes, I do have the audio tweaked out now, and I'm fairly sure that I sound like myself on it now.
Yeah. What mic are you still running the mic that came with it?
No, sir.
Okay, I
am running the 991A mic. Same mic I run on all my radios. So all my Yaesu radios, when they come with that microphone, they hit the road.
That's the same mic that comes with the 891?
No, the 891 comes with the 891 is the same mic as the 991.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that microphone.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the mic that, matter of fact, I'm going to order me another one. That way I have another one for the new radio, because I grabbed my DX10 one is what I grabbed. But
a Patreon benefit, put your mic settings on there. But it'll be a good baseline to start with. I did a while back, I posted my mic settings for the 891, but I also said that's for me. My voice, good baseline if maybe your voice is similar to mine, but from what I've seen, yes, the 891
absolutely.
mic is so much better.
The DX10 and the 710 mic and the Optima mic is all the same, and it's not good. The 891 and 991A mic are way better.
Now I don't know if they did some kind of different audio processing in the FTX one than every other Yaesu I've ever heard out of the box. But the people that I've talked to on air, and I've asked them after the fact, what have you done to the mic audio? They said nothing. And it sounded decent. Normally Yaesus are really flat from the factory.
Well,
Mike said all he did was add a little bit of compression. Turn the processor on, and it sounded good. That's all he needed.
Here's the thing. Most people can get by with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because most people don't have the same problems I have. I have 100,000 kids. And when daddy doesn't sound exactly the same, when he's saying, go to your room, they don't go to their room.
They think it's mommy talking instead.
Like it was crazy. Right off the bat, I heard a lot of people tell me I sounded good. But then there's the hardcore hunters that hunt me all the time that you're flat, you're muffled, you're this, you're that. And yeah. So I went through, I'd changed stuff while I was activating and kept playing with it. And then finally one night, me and Terry and Josh, which got on 40 meters, and I said, how's this sound? How's this sound? And I tweaked it out, and I think it's pretty much dead on from what everybody says. I've not heard me on it. But
you would think you can just take the same settings right off your DX10.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I mean, you're using the exact settings off the DX10.
Now, when you went through those settings on the DX10 and just looked at them, okay, did your voice recorder just start to work again?
I don't know. I didn't try it.
You know, if it's possible, because that's all I did.
So yeah, so that's what it ended. I was tweaking it during my activations, and then finally that night when I was doing it, I set the DX10 beside me, plugged it into a battery, and I went by step, and I set every single setting exactly like my DX10.
Every Yaesu should come with a preset called the King Daddy voice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Here we go. I'm gonna pay for my trip from Michigan. Digital content on sale now. The daddy voice settings.
You know, that would be a good thing to do. Open up both mics, see what the difference is. But even if the microphone that comes with the DX10 and the FTX series, even if it was better audio wise, I still prefer the way the 891 and the 991 mic looks and feels to me.
Yep. And I'll give you another pro tip hack about microphones. Let's say you accidentally get the end of the cable stuck in your case when you shut it, and you clip off the little pin that holds it in place. So when you stick it in, it'll fall out every time you pull it. You can go on eBay or Amazon and order one of those cheap Yaesu mics. The cheap Yaesu mics sound like crap, but it's the same exact cable.
Yep.
So you just pop the cable out of the head and put it in your head, and you're good to go.
Or you can really just use a Cat5 Ethernet patch cable. Does the exact same thing.
You can, but this will look exactly factory.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of buying a new $60 mic, you're buying a $10 mic and just switching out cables. And I said that about the case because that's exactly what I did.
I've actually had not bad luck of the knockoff microphones. I got a couple of them and they sound good to me.
Well, you know, here's the thing.
Again,
100,000 kids. A lot of people said I sounded just fine out of it. And then a couple of them like, oh, no. You got some electric sound in your voice or something.
Electric. Oh, man.
If anybody would like to purchase any DX10 microphones, I have 2 of them that I'll gladly sell.
You should have an Elecraft mic too somewhere.
Yeah, I've got a couple of Elecraft mics. The funny thing is I don't use my Elecraft mic. I use the little tiny handmade mic. So Turd says he likes the look of the 710 and DX10. I see. I prefer the other one. The looks better too, and it feels better in my hand.
That's a decent point, Dennis. And so everybody's filtering so high and tight that it compresses your sound anyway. I run mine, honestly, my receive filter, I run it as wide as practical without hearing anybody else that's going to QRM. Now for me, that's around 3K. 2.8-ish, 2.9 is where I normally run it. But I found that gives me decent audio quality if the transmitter that I'm listening to is running a 3K signal. If you're running a 4K signal, I got to open it up to hear the whole spectrum of your voice. But yeah.
So yeah, I do run my filtering higher than a lot of people. Believe it or not, with the new radio, I don't do that as much because the clarity out of that speaker. So I've got my speaker set to both. It's coming out the top and the front, but the clarity that's coming out the front is I don't need to run my filtering as high.
Well, yeah, you got 2 big old megaphones underneath the front of it there.
But also the bands are so bad. I don't know. Maybe the bands, because here's the thing: you can't tell by watching somebody's video because microphones pick up a lot different sound than video. So you can't really tell. But I don't know about everybody's band conditions, but mine is like there's a constant QRM carrier, but no QRM. It's just like it's taking an S9 noise level, but there's not as much noise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's something there, but I can't hear it. But it's blocking out everybody else's signals. It's kind of weird.
You know what else microphones do when you record your activation? It makes you look like a complete idiot.
Yes.
Because the microphone will pick up things clear as day that you cannot hear with your ear. Like, how could you not hear that guy? It's clear as day on your recording. Yeah. Now, get back to what you just said. Rewind the tape a little bit. You can have the audio come out of the top or the front or both?
Yes. Top,
Wow,
front, or both.
That's nifty. Okay.
Yes.
Why would one choose not to have the audio come out of the front? Is it a different bassy trebleness to each speaker or what? Like, does the top sound different than the front?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I would think the front might sound better.
I plan on doing a video on how to do that setting too anyway. Yeah. So I'll touch on that in the video.
Awesome.
So Matt says he's looking to upgrade to a DX10 from a 710. What are some pros? I don't have a 710. I wanted a 710 for a while just because it was a little smaller than a DX10. But now if I get one, I get one. I'm content with what I've got right now for sure. The filtering in the DX10 is definitely better.
Yeah.
The DX10. So the DX10 is the mid-level contesting radio. The 101 MP or D is the top level. The DX10 is the mid-level, and the 710 is the base level, the beginning level of contesting radio. So you're going to have more filtering and stuff like that in the DX10 for sure. I can't tell you the 710 does not have a CW decoder. Nobody should be using a CW decoder, but
every radio has a CW decoder. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's called the operator,
isn't it?
So the Optima don't have a CW decoder either, which is fine. Because here's the thing. Thomas Witherspoon tells me to always leave the CW decoder on if you're filming. He said because people like to see it. Now I'm tickled to death that I don't have to do that because I don't have
when I record CW activation, I leave my decoder on so people can see it, but half the time it's wrong anyway.
Yes.
So I don't know how that would help somebody. So I'm thinking about just turning it off. Yeah,
and that's the problem when I'm leaving it on when I'm filming. I happen to look down sometimes, and I see it, and I'm like, "That's not who just called me."
Yeah,
I didn't have Victor Echo Quebec Echo Echo Echo.
Yeah, the DX10 does have a larger screen than the FTX for sure.
I miss that.
It's a bigger radio.
I do miss that with the Optima. Yeah, I do miss the bigger screen because I'm blind, but I have no issues with it.
Maybe you can get one of those, like a piece of glass. Would it be convex or concave? Help me out in the chat. To put a piece of glass in front of it, that'll magnify the whole screen.
Well, I mean, honestly, what do I need to look at my screen for?
Yeah. Well, depending on what kind of notch filter it has. No, you just use auto notch. See, I don't use auto notch a lot on my 101D because it knocks a lot of stuff out that I want to hear. It's like it's too aggressive. So I always use the manual notch. And when I look at my screen, I can tell exactly where that carrier is in that 3kc of bandwidth, and I can notch it directly onto it. But I got to look at the screen for that.
There's that.
But for a POTA activator, that's a little bit too much to ask. Just use your auto notch, you know.
The auto notch, you're talking about the DNF, right?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yep.
All the ICOM guys call it an auto notch, and I always wonder, like,
DNF.
Are they talking about the DNF?
Now, one thing I did notice is there's a dedicated screen button for DNF. But I didn't see one for DNR. So for DNR, you still have to dig into the menu.
DNR, you got to dig in the menu.
Which is okay, because I would leave that set pretty much constant unless I'm on a higher band. I want to turn it off.
And here's the thing. Whatever you go into the menu, let's say DNR. I clicked on my DNR. So that's the last thing I clicked on. I go back to my thing. If I go to twist my knob up here, it's going to adjust DNR.
Yeah.
If I do it, I'll tell you a gripe I have with it. I do have one gripe with it. So
I don't think so.
For the automatic CQ button, you actually have to hit the button on the screen. You can't just hit your button like you could on the DX10.
You have a remote for that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think there is.
Does it have a remote? Yeah, does it have a remote port on it? Interesting. If it does, you can use it. If not,
For an external monitor?
no. I'm sorry. We're talking about yeah, we're talking about two different things. I'm sorry. I don't think it has an external monitor port. Actually, I'm pretty sure it does not.
Does.
I was talking about the remote plug for the box I made you.
Right.
That you can trigger your voice memories on. So.
I don't know that it has that on it.
That'd be interesting. Well, you don't use it very much anyway, so you open the screen and hit it like once or twice, and then you're off to the races. So.
Right. And except in these band conditions, or when I'm doing Lewis and Clark. Although last night on Lewis and Clark, man, I had a pile. Yes, I was in the Boda Park anyway, but those people wasn't Boda people. I'd get some every now and then, and they'd say, "Thanks, James," and I'm like, "Yeah, them Boda people." but there was a lot of people.
I don't think the G90 can hook up an external monitor either. It's been a long time since I've seen a G90, and to be quite honest with you, as much as I talk good about the G90, I think it's an excellent radio. But I have used one at POTA exactly one time in my life. I've touched one probably 2 or 3 times. So I'm not the best person to ask. I think he's going to grab his G90 right now. But I don't think it has a monitor, because it wouldn't make sense for it to have a monitor. It's so small as it is. And you're not going to run it as like a home rig. Well, I guess you could, but yeah.
Okay, so no, there's definitely not an external monitor port here. And wait, I just thought about something.
That's dangerous. What's the GSOC? GSOC. I'm not familiar with this acronym.
Can you run an external monitor from a USB-C?
Only if it outputs video, which I doubt it does.
Only if it has what?
Only if it outputs video, which it probably does not.
Because it does have a USB-C port.
But no, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about the G90. I just haven't used one very much. Yeah.
There's size right there.
It's bigger than your head.
Bigger than my head.
Yeah, see the space, guys, between his VHF antenna plug. Hold it right there, James. The space between his VHF antenna plug and the Molex connector. If you got fat fingers like most hams do, it's going to be hard to get your index finger or your thumb in there to depress that. They should have flipped the connector around so that tab was on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could probably flip it around yourself if you want to crack it open and just flip the Molex connector. Maybe. I don't know. But no, that's what GSOC, because GSOC was a new head unit for controlling the G90. It didn't work. And Zygu, is it Zygu or Shegu? That company abandoned
That that is gonna be the age old question right there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the age old question. I've heard that radio called so many different things.
I just call it both. I
I've
say
called it.
Shagu Jagu, Goo Goo, Gaga, Media Gaga,
I
Media
call
Goo
it.
Goo.
I call it the radio that used to be really great, and they changed something in their process because a lot of people have problems at them now. The old school G90s, you never heard of nobody having. There's one sitting over there on the shelf that I can fire up right now and use.
Built like tanks. Yeah. No DP tonight? Dr.
nothing.
Pepper? No Dr. Pepper tonight? And let me clarify that for people who what?
No DP tonight.
Yeah.
Trying to get back on schedule again.
That is good. Good for the blood sugar.
Brian says, "What do you mean it doesn't work? I've used it and it works fine."
Talking about the GSOC, GSOC
Oh, okay.
stuff for the G90. But yeah, I'm excited. The XI is pronounced the same as, I don't know how that's. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, you're a really big help.
Can you?
Sikkim Augusta, Manama not.
Yeah, Eric, you're just gonna have to come on the stream and let me know how to pronounce that.
Doc says no external mic capability, but does have cat control.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
So
it's probably
what the
USB.
USB-C is for, is the cat control, which makes sense because you're going to have that for like FT8 and stuff.
You can also, I believe, can you charge it by USB-C? I think so.
No, you cannot.
Oh.
You had. I do know that for a fact. You only can use the barrel connector to charge it. Yep. So I've still got lots and lots to do. I'm in the process of power polling the little tiny wire that barrel connector comes from. Yeah, they're small.
All right, so Z. Xi? Is it Xi or Z? I'd say Xi. So it would be Zygu.
Xi equals Xi.
Okay, so Zygu. The more you know. I need one of them graphics. The more
I've heard
you know.
of Zygu. I've heard of Zagu. I've heard of
Shagu.
Shagu.
Yeah. Brian says you can charge by USB-C. According to the manual, it's probably going to have to be like a 65 watt PD.
Well, according to John Crunk from Yazoo, when I interviewed him, you cannot charge it through the USB-C. Only the barrel connector. That is what he said. That's where I got that information from. Not a manual or anything like that. That doesn't mean that he's the absolute be all end all.
Well, but, yeah, I agree with that, because he also did say, not say anything bad about John. I love him like a brother, but he also did say that there was no way that the unit could be extended to be separated. What he meant by that, I think, was Yazoo does not offer an authorized way to extend it.
Well, what he probably means is, if you do extend it and you mess up your warranty because of it, I mean, that's not a be all end all question. That's we're covering our butt. If I decide that I'm going to run a panini maker out of this thing, they're not going to offer my warranty. Even though me and John have had many talks about running a panini maker out of the new 705 killer, because that's what I named this radio 3 years ago.
That's Hillbilly Ham brings up a good one here, and I'm gonna try it as soon as I get mine. I get it. I got the cables in my Amazon cart because they're common cables that you can get to extend this head unit. It's not going to be hard to find the stuff to do it, but I am worried about voltage drop over the length of that cable. Now, I'm only going to have to go 10, 12 feet from underneath my back seat of my truck, around underneath the door sill, and then up. So if it ends up being a voltage drop issue, I'll just run bigger wire.
Right. Now, I know somebody's made one. I'm in a group, an FTX one. God, that's the hardest name to say for radio. And that's why I call it my Optima.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to say my Optima.
I coined a word.
For you guys that don't have the Optima, you just say my field.
I coined a word last night. Yaesu should brand this and give me royalties. If you have the FTX1F, the field unit only, and you want to turn it into the 100-watt rig, you have now just optimized your unit. Optimized. There you go.
But yeah, anyway, that group that I was talking about that I joined, there is a guy who's already made a separation kit, and he said he's used it hunting so far, and so far it's working. That's all that I've seen so far. But I mean, we're ham radio people. It's what we do. We get this. Ooh, I can. When I say we, I mean you smart people. I'm a POTA guy. You know, I send my stuff to PP Man and say, fix this, or how do I do this, or this, that, and the other.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But for the most part, there are people. It's just like there is a guy in my club, and there's no way I'll let him get within 2 feet of this radio, because he'll be changing my settings, and he'll be trying to rig something to do something else, and it's just not something I want to do. Hello, Dom. Welcome.
Yeah, hey, Dom. Me and James were talking about this a little bit before stream. Actually, I want the same thing, the Optima for the truck. It's not the extending the cables part that worries me. It's the fact that the head unit is a self-contained radio. It's a radio in and of itself. And my concern is the weight of that and how I'm going to mount it where it's stable, because I'm not going to use one of those stupid cup holder mounts, because even with the light old 891 head, it's not stable enough for me. I want a mount where, like my current 891, if I push a button, the radio doesn't deflect. I can tell I pushed a button. So that. Now, the other question I had, James can probably answer this. When you have the unit optimized and you're running the whole 100-watt, your power control on your unit, does it go up to 100?
Yes.
Oh, so it knows it. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yes. It goes
so
up
you
to
can actually
100,
run it down at like 40 if you wanted to.
up to 100 and down to 5.
Awesome.
Only 5, just like the rest of the Yaesus. That was a disappointment. Now, what I was thinking was for people who do want to do this mobile, you know, for you guys who are really handy and stuff, it does have 4 screws on each side. You could fasten yourself a mount.
That might be what I have to do.
It's not super heavy. I mean, I've seen heavier radios mounted in vehicles.
I'm sure I'll come up with something 3D printed, but
well, I don't know about 3D printing. Yeah, I would think more of a metal bracket.
Yeah, you said down to 5 watts.
Down to 5 watts, yes.
When it's optimized.
When it's
I love
optimized.
that word. Now, if you
don't
pull,
know.
Yeah,
I don't know if it goes below. That is a good question.
It has to. All right. So with no battery on the thing, no external battery, no external power, using the battery that clips on the back of the field.
6 watts.
Okay. So why would they make it 5 watts? That doesn't make any sense. It has to go below 5 watts. That would make no sense to me. To have a power, you know what I mean?
That is something we're gonna check. Correct.
Yeah.
You know, probably maybe before I even go out activating now. Thank you very much, Mike, for the super chat, and for Brian for his taxes. That means he must be activating. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Just fabricate your own little mountain bracket. I can probably make one pretty strong out of an ASA or something like that on the 3D printer. And
I have not hooked my ATOS to it yet, Doc, but to my knowledge, it works with both. Now, you might have to have the external battery hooked to
you do
for both.
You have to have a 12 volt. Yeah, you have to have the 12 volt supply for the ATOS. Yeah.
But it does work. I do remember John saying it would do it with both.
Yeah, man. All these questions we got, man, this is going to be an awesome video series you're putting out about this.
Yeah, I mean, if there's something specific you guys want to see on my how-to with the FTX one, send me a message and I'll try to cover it. I may have to learn it myself. I literally just got this radio Friday. So, but it has been exclusive in every pod activation I've been in since Friday. So if you've heard me since Friday, you've heard me on this radio. And if you heard me from the beginning Friday till the latest activation, you heard the difference in my audio. Voltage problem.
Your audio sounds fantastic. It sounds just like an icon.
So here's the thing. I know I don't sound like an icon because ICOMs can't break through. The ICOMs can receive just fine.
My ICOM had no trouble whatsoever breaking through anything.
Yeah, I guess not with 1500 watts in your easy button.
Well, it was the 7610 too. It wasn't like a 7300 or anything. But
I wish somebody would bring their 7610 to field day so I could really make them mad.
Yeah,
I bet you that if somebody would bring their 7610 to field day and they were having problems with the station. Hey, thank you very much, Dom, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I know Dom has a top secret coming up. I've heard him talk about it. He's got something secret cooking, and I'm really looking forward to figuring out what he's got doing. Matter of fact, here's another thing. Since I've had this thing, when I'm home, I've been hunting on this thing. Just trying to get used to settings and stuff like that.
I'm getting there, Josh.
And I've been hunting, but I heard Dom talking to somebody the other day when I was hunting, and he was telling the guy, and Dom cracked me up. He's like, yeah, I got something really secret coming up, and this, that, and the other. And the guy's like, well, what do you got coming up? And Don said, well, you'll have to listen and find out.
If I told you, it wouldn't.
I absolutely loved it.
If I told you, it wouldn't be a secret, dummy.
But Dom, he told him, I got a secret coming up, and it's going to come out soon. And well, what is it?
That's
and Dom said, well, you'll have to wait and listen and find out.
Yeah, I'll get the FTX one there on the background. I got to redo the background. It's time to freshen up anyways.
Hold on here. Let's see.
I'm excited. I don't know exactly where I fell in line for the reservations, but to be honest, I'm not in any hurry. I'm quite content with the arsenal that I have now as far as field radios and shack radios. So to me, the longer I wait, maybe they'll do firmware updates before they ship them out. So that's one less thing that I have to do. And it's perfect right there, actually. And it's just, it gives me opportunity to save some more pennies before I buy it. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah. As a matter of fact, drop that in Discord over there to me, and I'll put that on the the background.
I don't got to drop it in Discord. You can take it yourself. It's in the things right now.
I can't download.
You can't download these?
No, you can't. You can upload them all day long, but you can't download them. Go figure, right?
Okay.
Yeah, just drop it over in Discord. Not just a private message or something. Thank you. Good sugar for the $5 super chat.
Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate it. You guys are all helping toward. Well, you're helping. You're kind of helping toward the recovery from Michigan.
I would never sell my 891. Yes, the FTX is dual receive. Now, I said that very specifically to answer your question. It's dual receive. It is not full duplex.
Right. Definitely not full duplex. So it's not my satellite replacement. I still got to use the icon for the satellites. Speaking of satellites, and this is shenanigans. This is a great story. I got so mad. So I came home from that crappy activation. I was like, forget it. I'm just going to do satellites. And I looked and I seen my favorite satellite was coming up in like 15 minutes. So I thought. And I come in here and I put my chest harness on. I'm getting everything ready, and I'm running out there, and I go looking for it, and I was like, I don't even see it on today, and I was looking on tomorrow, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
That is great. Hey, at least you got your exercise in running out to the yard, right?
There's more running around here getting everything ready, but it's been hectic trying to keep up with everything lately.
Almost like taking the radio but leaving your power cord.
Yeah. As long as I'm in my car now, Dom, I'm fine. As long as I've got the car with me, I'm fine, because there's extra of everything that's stored in the car. So
that's why I like taking.
Brent, see you later. Before you leave, send me a message and confirm that Zilpo is still supposed to open up on the 16th, because I'll probably come out there and camp a night, and you can come out and hang out with me if you want to.
Gene, if you go to that link that I just dropped in the chat, it should bring up a page where you can choose. You can join. You can choose what membership level you would like, and you have to make a Patreon account. And it should walk you through about everything else.
And then you can hang out with us all the time and get aggravated. That's the thing about Patreon. There's video rooms for every subject you can imagine. Make sure you're going in the right subject you want to talk about, because there's a video room that's called Ham Radio. All you're supposed to talk about is Ham Radio in there. There's a video room for this. There's one called Chill Pad, and that's no holds barred 24/7. Just remember that, guys. And that's where most people hang out anyway, because we are a bunch of no holds barred kind of people. Anyway, Dan, what you got coming up?
Man, not a whole lot. Another week of work next week. The dreaded 4-letter F word. Thank you, Josh, for the 40 pizzas. Good daddy voice was his comment. Thanks so much. And I didn't know if James could read that on his screen, so I read it out.
You did really good by reading it, because you knew I didn't. I was getting ready to pick up my phone and look and see who it was.
And as Jumbo Marshmallow just said, Chill Pad is like our own 7200, but a little bit nicer. Well, other than that, man, I appreciate everybody coming and hang out with us on our beautiful Sunday and bad band condition Sunday for Shenanigans episode. What was it? 124. And keep your head up tonight, and maybe tomorrow night. Maybe you can see some aurora, because we got a major solar storm that's smacking us around right now. But we'll make it through. We'll persevere. That's right. And welcome, Gary. And sorry you popped in here when we're getting ready to head out, but come back on Wednesday, and we'll do this again. Actually, we got a pretty cool stream on Wednesday. I'll have to tell Dan about it when we get off the stream. It's going to be a new series, actually, that we're going to be doing maybe once a month, once every other month or something. And
you guys can be involved in that. So I think it's a pretty good idea, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday. So make sure and hang out with us. For me, I'm going to get off the stream. I'm going to pull the head off this unit and power it up and see if it goes below 5 watts as the unoptimized version. And then I'm going to head out and do a early and late shift. I'll probably start around 7:40ish, probably, and go through the late shift. And then later this evening, if you want to get some more, look for Whiskey 8 Lima Oscar Golf, because I'll probably do some sideband and some FT8 on that account. So thanks a lot, guys, and we'll catch you on the air. 73.